welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. So, long time no see. Today's video is one that I've been meaning to make for quite a while. It's super important to me. There's a couple of things I want to address at the beginning of it. If you want to just skip that part, I'll put timestamps down below, either in the comment section or in the description box. It'll be somewhere. But first things first, I want to address the fact that you may have noticed, if you're not new here, that I actually took down quite a bit of my content. I privated a lot of my YouTube videos. I completely locked down my Instagram, and I completely deactivated my main TikTok account. Now, the main reason for that is over the last couple weeks, couple of months, however long it's been, I've been doing a lot of research. I've been doing a lot of experiments, a lot of testing, and just a lot of educating myself on the law and how it actually really works and how we're meant to use it, and diving into some things that I'm even going to be talking about today. And I just realized that even though I'm not necessarily saying that the content that I used to do is bad, I just don't necessarily agree with it anymore. I don't think it should be out there in the way that it is out there right now. I haven't looked through all of the videos point by point, but I figured there were probably some that we're also just not giving the best information depending on which situation you are in. So I do want to refilm most of them. So I'm not just going to delete them and just pretend they didn't happen, but I want to refilm them from my new POV to give you guys just a better understanding of the law, to make it maybe a little bit easier in some places, maybe give you a little bit more in-depth information if you are looking for that, and just to cater it better to basically anybody and everybody, but especially people who have trauma or are going through trauma, who are neurodivergent, just people that I feel like sometimes in the community can be overlooked because a lot of the techniques and a lot of the things that are being explained are very catered towards people who have, not a lot of things to go through necessarily, or, sitting down and affirming for hours on end is just something that a lot of us neurodivergent people cannot do. And fun fact, you also don't need to do. That is a topic for another video. And also, been renovating a lot. I've been pretty busy. We had a very long winter. When I have a short summer, I don't have a whole lot of time. Had people in and out of the house all the time for things that I couldn't do myself. Haven't learned to roof yet, but maybe one day. So things have just been busy and crazy, which is why it's taken me so long to get this video out. But let's get into the video. So another reason why I really want to recurate my TikTok, and I should have mentioned that maybe, I am making a new TikTok account. So the one that I got rid of is not gonna be not replaced. I already made a new account. I will link it down below once I actually start uploading on there. I'm kind of still thinking about what I want to do, but I just wanted to start from scratch. There were so many videos on there that for the most part I didn't even know what they were anymore, and I just decided it was better to start fresh and start with a new perspective and just rebrand a little bit. But there's a lot of misinformation on TikTok, especially. It's very concerning at times, especially when people are claiming that it's actual factual. That was really worded. But one video I came across a couple of weeks ago of this creator, and this creator basically said that if you are not affirming enough, you are just lazy. And I didn't see a whole lot of comments discrediting that statement, but I'm here to tell you that this statement is absolutely not just not true, it's actually really harmful. I've also seen this for quite a while, that there's a lot of people who say that nervous system regulation is a fancy TikTok trend. As someone with a degree in psychology, I can tell you it's not a TikTok trend at all. It's a real thing that's based in a lot of science and a lot of psychology. It's actually really important in trauma work. So first things first, I want to say is no, if you are not affirming enough, you are absolutely not lazy. There are some people who may not prioritize affirming, and that is okay. You don't have to. Again, I will make a separate video about that, but to say that most people who just can't do it or just won't prioritize it are lazy, it just includes a whole bunch of people who, even if you're not neurodivergent or don't have anything else going on in terms of trauma or whatever, there might be a legitimate reason why you can't do it, and that doesn't mean that you are excluded from manifesting successfully. And I think that's a really important point to address, because there are a lot of other things you can do, but this video in particular, I wanted to mostly address the part that talks about nervous system regulation and all of those things, because there are some times where affirming through anxiety does not work, and you shouldn't have to do that as well. So there is a huge difference between, let's say you are affirming for something that gives you a little bit of stress, or you're a little bit nervous about it and you are having opposing thoughts that come up and you just want to kind of counter them, that's fine. That is literally the lowest level tier anxiety we're talking about. But if you are going even one level above that and you're starting to get actual physical symptoms, or you're starting to go down a spiral or panic, regulating your nervous system first is not only something you should do, it's actually helpful and beneficial, because the subconscious at some point is actually shutting down. If you are in fight or flight, it's not going to take in any information because it's too busy trying to figure out what is actually going on in your surrounding, that you trying to manifest over that is just burning yourself out. And I know that there are some people who have had success with it. I would probably assume that they have not been in a full-blown panic attack. And if they were, whatever they have been affirming during that time probably wasn't what tilted the scale. It was whatever work they did before or after. Because like I said, we're not biologically wired to reaffirm a new belief while we're in the middle of trying to figure out if there's danger around us and if we should maybe try to do something like fight, flight, freeze, whatever, to survive. So I think that's really important. And it doesn't even have to be anything crazy. I mean, I'm personally, for example, not a huge fan of breath work, but I know it works for a lot of people. Just going outside for a walk, if that helps you, doing something sensory, if that helps you. Maybe sometimes you don't even realize you're hungry or you're tired or you're thirsty and you need to take care of that first. Whatever it is, you are allowed to sit with whatever you're feeling. And even if you think that affirming does help you, even if you're in like a state of anxiety, don't affirm for your desire though. Affirm that you are safe and that you are secure and that everything is fine. You can touch your own body and kind of just ground yourself back into yourself, which again, I get it. I have that kind of anxiety that rarely reacts to anything. So my personal go-to is to just ride it out at the end of the day. I try to just distract myself as best as I can. So I understand that sometimes it's hard, but when you are on the other end of it, that's when you can jump back into affirming. That's when you can go back to your goal. But it's also really helpful to kind of see, is this anxiety related to your current manifestation? Is this something that is triggering in you, whether it's childhood trauma or some other belief that you thought wasn't connected to it? Is that something you might have to address first? Because sometimes, and I'm going to talk about this in depth. If you are not new here, you know that I have not been the biggest advocate for doing self-concept work in the past, but I have always said that you can get whatever you want, you can manifest whatever you want, but if you actually want to hold on to it, you do have to do self-concept work. I am now of the belief that you have to do even more self-concept work, because at the end of the day, Neville even said it, it starts with you, it ends with you. And if you are not doing the self-concept work to even stabilize your manifestation, that's when you get these small success stories of like, I got a text or I got this, but you don't really ever hear them like holding on to it. Did that even make sense? You get what I mean. Very rarely do you hear them actually holding on to their manifestation long term. Let's say you're manifesting an SP. Everybody's manifesting an SP. Let's say you're manifesting an SP and you feel like you've done everything right and you're good to go, and you always had like a really good steady self-concept, but you have this really negative assumption about them. So you're changing the assumption and then they come back and you then all of a sudden fall back into that negative pattern. That is also self-concept. So believing that what you are affirming is going to take hold, even if the 3D shows you something unfavorable. So it's not always about what you believe about them or about relationships, which technically is also self-concept, but how do you feel about your ability to hold on to it? And I've always said it's the 3 pillars, right? Like how you think other people see you, how you see other people, and how you see yourself. So it's really, really important to kind of address the core problem of it if you are noticing that there is something going on. And sometimes, especially if you don't necessarily have anxiety, but you have this, how am I supposed to explain it? This inner like block almost of like, oh, I have time to affirm right now and I actually feel good and I should be affirming, but then you're just not doing it. That's also your nervous system telling you like, hey, this is kind of not safe and this is kind of not a priority. So you have to ask yourself, okay, but why? What is it that I'm worried about will change if I affirm for this? What is it that I'm maybe trying to not address at the moment in time? So whatever it is, there could be a plethora of reasons as to why you feel this way. But more times than not, it comes from a place of, well, what if I affirm and it doesn't work? Or what if I affirm and it doesn't work fast enough? Or what if I do get what I want and then it's kind of not what I want? There are a bunch of reasons. Oftentimes this comes from just a fear of failure. So you have to like ask yourself, hey, was there any time in the past where I did fail, or I was afraid to fail and I just never tried, and then I learned that that was safer to me? So at the end of the day, if you are someone who for whatever reason struggles to do their manifestation technique, and again, it's not just affirming, it's whatever fits you best, you need to figure out why first. And I know it kind of sounds like, well, but I want immediate results. I understand that, but I can tell you from personal experience, if you are doing the core work ahead of time, it will save you so much grief and so much time later down the line when you are actually manifesting things that would normally trigger you. So stabilizing yourself should always be the first go-to, which again doesn't mean that you can't manifest other stuff while you're stabilizing yourself. But you just kind of have to almost like figure out for yourself, how deep is this wound? Where exactly is it coming from? And how much can I address at a time, or should address at a time, to the point where if I am affirming for it, I don't feel like I'm being chased by a lion anymore for literally no reason. Do not discount nervous system regulation. Do not discount the fact that your trauma is real and there is literally no reason to affirm over it or manifest over it if you don't want to, if you don't feel like it. And if other people are saying that it worked for them, that's great. They're entitled to their stories, and if they had success with that, that does not mean that just because you didn't have success with that, that you are a worse manifester or that manifesting will not happen for you. Because I've seen a couple comments from people that said, I just can't do it and I just get too anxious. I guess it's just not for me, or I just can't have it. And that broke my heart, because I don't want anybody to think that they are incapable of getting what they want or manifesting what they want just because they are dealing with something that other people who are leaving this comment, like leaving these kinds of comments, never had to deal with, probably never will have to deal with, because their self-concept doesn't allow for that, which is great for them and I'm happy for them. But please do not beat yourself up because you're at a different spot, because there are a lot of solutions on how to fix it. And if you want me to make like a dedicated video just for nervous system regulation techniques, and I can maybe even do some with you to kind of show you how to do them. And I also wanted to like make a video to kind of talk about like the most common themes that I see come up and give you some techniques or some visualizations or affirmations. You can definitely leave a comment down below. Also, if one of my older videos, if you had them like saved in a playlist or something and you would like me to refilm them because it's one of the videos that I took down, you can also let me know. But I just wanted to get that out here. I know this wasn't like the most educational video necessarily today, but it was just really important for me to get that message out, because I didn't want anybody to sit with this for like a day longer, to feel bad about themselves and think that you always have to push through and fight through. I've done both. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But if you are noticing pretty quickly that it's not working and you just don't have the stamina and it's just making things worse. I had that situation not too long ago, and I actually ended up seeking proof, if you will, in the 3D reality, and that did help me. But I was doing a lot of work ahead of that to try to regulate myself, and there was just nothing else that did work at the time. So even if you are reverting back to that, again, I don't want you to feel bad. It's okay to go through ups and downs, because if you are working with really ingrained trauma, and trauma like that maybe has been ingrained with you for a really long time, we're talking like decades and decades, or things that are just really harmful to you and how you see yourself and how you see the world, then sometimes just saying affirmations and hoping it'll go away is just not the way to go. So anyway, if you guys have any more questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will absolutely see you guys in the next video.